Ahead on Wink News, taking on new tech to keep you safe. Why police in Naples say new six-figure high-tech cameras are worth the hefty price tag. And right now, on the run with guns. Crooked criminals steal high-powered weapons and ammo from a home in the Cape. And new at 9, literally sleeping at the wheel. Drivers shocked as they catch a man taking a snooze inside his speeding, self-driving car. Next on Wink News at 9, $100,000 needed for emergency repairs to community pools. Why Fort Myers Beach leaders say it's vital to keeping your kids safe while they swim. And in just 45 minutes, Senator Rick Scott visits Naples, tackling the cost of prescription medications and how to make it cheaper for you. Plus, more than 20 dead in Alabama and homes unrecognizable after a monster storm slams the southeast, even parts of Florida in its crosshairs.
It's not exactly our vision, but it's a lot closer than it was a year ago.
Right now on Week News this morning, walking away without a deal, the one sticking point the president says that stopped North Korea's denuclearization.
Plus, a man nearly stabbed to death at a popular shopping center. How shoppers made sure that suspect was caught.
And honoring controversial quarterback Colin Kaepernick in a classroom, why the district made a teacher tear down her door decoration.
Air Force One in the sky. President Trump on the way back to the U.S. Why nuclear negotiations with Kim Jong-un came to an abrupt end. Plus, Lehigh Acres wants to take empty land and turn it into a highly functional park. We'll break down the costs. And don't worry, be happy. Why law enforcement says you should focus on fun while they keep you safe at the Lee County Fair. A crook broke into these glass doors at a Cape Coral home, and it turns out all he was after was Halloween candy, which ended up connecting him to even more crimes. The same day, Chelsea Anderson's home was burglarized. Police arrested a 15-year-old boy for a home break-in. Police say he made off with a handgun and a bag of candy. When Anderson told police about the missing treats, they made a connection right away.
The officer even told us, like, that's actually really good that we told him that, because we didn't know if we should tell him that or not, because it was such a small detail. But you know, things like this, I guess every small detail will help.
Police say that teen caused about $2,300 in damage to that door just to get in for that candy. He's also responsible for a number of other break-ins around Cape Coral. Coming up on Wink News this morning, the vice president's coming to Southwest Florida this weekend. Where he's headed and why neighbors say the visit's going to cause headaches.
Plus, a boat captain found dead and their boat circling on the water with no one driving. Hear from the woman who saw what happened and did the best she could to save the captain.
And a convicted felon is caught on camera trying to get into a woman's home. How the homeowner scared him off from miles away.
Just ahead at 9, a man in Fort Myers armed with a gun and preying on your children. How to keep your child safe at the bus stop this morning. Guess who's coming to town? Vice President Mike Pence spending the weekend in Southwest Florida. The streets you need to avoid as a VP makes his way to Sanibel. And careless chaos is wasting emergency resources. How local first responders are trying to get a handle on accidental 911 calls made from your wrist.
Family living by this Cape Coral Canal did everything they could to save a man from drowning, but unfortunately, they were just too late. All of this happened along Southeast 30th Terrace, right near Country Club Boulevard. You can see it. We've put it on the map right here in this canal. Divers pulled the man out of the water Sunday night. Neighbors say they think he went into the water to save his dog.
I overheard the one police officer say the dog was wet, and it had happened in the past that the dog fell in the canal, so we think that he probably went in after the dog.
Neighbors say it was dark out when they heard the man gasping for his breath. We're still waiting on police to identify him.
Coming up on Week News this morning, spring break right around the corner. How law enforcement plans to stop trouble before it happens.
Plus, a former detective opens up why he says people aren't coming forward to report fellow officers in the Fort Myers Police Department. Imagine looking outside and seeing this. New images from Fort Erie, Ontario show what strong winds can do. They picked up over the weekend and actually blew chunks of ice from Lake Erie ashore. Do you see that there? Thousands of pounds of ice pushed over a retaining wall. Some people are calling this an ice tsunami.
And that is just crazy to see. The golf course added security cameras, lighting, new locks, cables, even rearranged everything. So the golf carts were not in plain sight after their first robbery. But the thieves still knew exactly where everything was. And now employees and golfers are upset, saying this will have a really big impact on the course.
I think it's pretty sad to be honest, because it's going to ruin it for everybody.
I mean, it's a lot of money, a lot of money.
One regular golfer says he saw a large red truck, one big enough to hold the golf carts, parked strangely outside of a Home Depot last night. Investigators are now looking into that surveillance